let's move on to Chelsea. Chelsea, oh my goodness, I think continues the same theme a little bit. Chelsea struggling at home, 0, Aston Villa 1. Mauricio Pochettino, Rob, I'm starting to make notes of things that his quotes, actually. I'm starting to make notes of his quotes that he's saying where I'm like...
Doesn't sound like a good thing, Mustoe. Doesn't sound like that's a good thing.
No, it doesn't.
A good draw.
No, it's not. Yeah, because I don't... Please don't start dressing up as anything other than what it is. I know managers have to speak to try and protect the squad and the team and to keep the enthusiasm and the hope alive at the club, and I get that. But another kind of... Afterwards, I caught an interview where he said, like, we're performing well, like, it was a good performance. Like, it can't be, can it? I mean, this is another game where they struggle to score. And again, by the way, I can't dissect this game. No, this is one of those games in that crazy window, and so I didn't see it all. I'm looking at highlights, I'm looking at quotes, I'm looking at extended highlights and goals and stuff like that. So I can't be too detailed about this. But this is an awful look, Rob, isn't it? Again, this continues where... God blimey, we've talked about the experiment, the amount of young players, unproven in some ways, but talented, and trying to throw them all together in a team. My goodness, this is turning into a nightmare, Rob. That's 5 points, isn't it, in 6 games, and another home defeat with no goals.
Yeah, not great at all, mate. And I have to go back to, I think, our conversation beginning of the season, or just when the season started, where I said, mate, it's going to need patience, and in times of term, and I'll say it again, 2 years. It's a 2-year thing before this team, and there's going to be some dark days. Hopefully, from Chelsea's point of view, there's some brighter days. There's so many younger players, Rob, or inexperienced players, or players in this group. Which I was trying to think about it when Conor Gallagher's your captain today of Chelsea. And no disrespect at all to him, because I think he's a really good Premier League player, now an international footballer. But when he's captaining the team, it tells me that around them there's players who, I don't know. It's like when you become a pro, Rob, and you get to, you've been in the game for a few years. You kind of understand some things and know where to be and know when to run and know when to sit in and not give things away. And you have an experience, you have a background, you have a body of work that you can call on to get you out of situations. Yeah. This group haven't got that collectively. And there's individuals within it who are not playing particularly well. So Gusto goes in the challenge. I thought it was a little bit harsh with the red. I think in slow motion it made it look worse. And it's a challenge. He goes off. Ollie Watkins gets the goal. Nicholas Jackson's struggling for goals. Mudrik's not quite happy. There's loads of people who are not quite being able to have a body of work to fall back on. And when you do that collectively, it's a problem. Now, I know where I think you'll go. There's the patience I think will be there, but there's got to be progress. And at the moment, I would say there isn't being the progress that you expect from the kind of investment and the kind of quality that's in the squad.
So I'd agree with that, and I think that's always important, isn't it? What I will push you on, Rob, is the 2 year. It's not a push really. It's just another question. Yeah. When you sort of say it's going to take 2 years, I would. My gut feeling is that in that 2 years, there's got to be new players brought in, Rob. Now, I want to know from you whether you believe if no other players come into this first team squad, that it's going to take 2 years for this team to improve, to get better, to figure out the Premier League, for the manager to find the right system, the right way of playing, for injuries and all that. Do you believe that this group can be where Chelsea want to be in 2 years, or whether that's going to involve more additions in those 2 years?
Well, I think there's going to be a certain amount of traffic in and out. I think that's just natural in any window in any club. I mean, Chelsea are trying to get some players out who they couldn't before the window. They're a bit heavy laden. I still think for all that they've spent, they're short of a centre forward, Rob, and I think that's a burning issue. Nicholas Jackson, who we saw in the summer series, it's one thing to look dangerous in those games. You've got to convert that into performances and goals in the Premier League. At the moment, he's struggling. The team's not helping him, but he's struggling to find the back regularly. So I think a proper striker. But I do think there's going to be development amongst the players. So to take your point and to answer your point, I think there's enough in this group with Pochettino given time that we can talk about the body of work, and we can talk about looking at maybe some of the Arsenal players and how they've developed over the last couple of years to get to where they are now. But it's going to take some difficult times, and maybe Pochettino's job at the moment with young players is to go out in the media and not put them away, maybe as a Mourinho might or some other kind of manager. But listen, it's not fun. It's not a fun watch. There was a few murmured boos towards the end of the game, so fans will give it some time. But again, they want to see better football and more progression.
Of all the clubs, Rob, the big clubs, to go about this process in this way, I mean, it would have to be. I mean, I suppose they're all similar, but Chelsea are used to immediate results, victories, trophies, success, if not change. Okay, here we go. Trophies, success. Then it goes stale, change. I mean, it's so different for these fans to sort of have to witness it. I would not expect, but I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea fans are like, lose interest. Like, I mean, really? We've got to wait here and wait for this kind of project to happen now? And the excitement totally goes out the club, totally goes out the team. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the Chelsea fans are all over this and like, you know what, this is going to be worth it. We'll be patient. But what we've known about this club in the past, it's so different what they're doing to and what the fans are seeing week in, week out. I don't know how they're going to react, Rob. Are they going to? I mean, there's boos today. Does that get worse? Does that continue? I mean, everybody wanted Pochettino and everybody agreed it was the right guy. Yeah. Where does it go, Rob? Where does the criticism from the fans end up? Is it going to go back to the ownership and the decisions made by them?
Eventually it'll go to ownership if they're not happy. Eventually it'll go to manager because, as much as I think everybody likes Poch and understands he's a great coach and develops players, you want progress, Rob, and if it's bottom half of the table again for any sustained period, people are not going to be happy, and I can understand that. And I think Pochettino understands that. So he's got to get improvement. He's got to get a little bit more from his players, be a bit, more confident in possession. But I think, Rob, as well, I want to make the point that this wasn't just about Chelsea. Let's give Aston Villa a little bit of credit, because Unai Emery not too dissimilar terms of being at a football club, has changed the complete outlook of a club that was playing in Europe midweek. It didn't particularly go as they liked. It's probably brought a more experienced type of player. You look at someone like Ollie Watkins, got his first Premier League goal today, scored goals in Europe, etc. But it's almost like you look at Chelsea, they could do with an Ollie Watkins. A centre forward who runs in behind, he's not too complicated, plays with the team, he's good age, is willing to hold the ball up for his teammates. I think there's a nice mix about the way that Villa go about their business. They're well set up, they're organised with the ball and without. Where they sit sixth in the table, Aston Villa, mate. And would probably go to Chelsea now and say, yeah, Chelsea didn't play particularly well, but hold on, give us a little bit of credit. And so I think we should give a bit of credit to teams like Aston Villa and Unai Emery, the job he's done there.
Yeah, I think absolutely right. I mean, they sneak up that league table. They're getting themselves in a position where they want to be. They want to be kind of challenging from that kind of position. Yeah. So it's great for Aston Villa. Emery's had there's a few bad ones, weren't there? A few bad results. I thought, opening weekend, wasn't it? We were at St James's Park and saw that kind of real struggle in the second half. But fair play. There's a structure about it. There's a foundation about the team now under this guy, and they've got back to winning ways. And like Forest before them, that's a great win. I know that we've. The Chelsea are new and finding their feet, but that's still a great win. Well on Aston Villa. Good for them, and they're sneaking up the table.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. And for even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock. And be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend on USA Network and on Peacock. We will see you there.